McCain was born in a military family. In 1981, he retired from the Navy as captain and moved to the state of Arizona with his second wife, Cindy McCain. 1 year after he left the Navy, he won his House seat in 1982 and his Senate seat 4 years later. McCain has kept a record of not being beaten in running for office in the Congress for more than 20 years.
What a family.
In 1951, 15-year-old McCain came to study in Episcopal High School, a private boarding school in Alexandria, Virginia. It was where he began to receive military and academic education. McCain said the 4 years he spent in this high school was critically important. McCain was an excellent lightweight wrestler in high school who could win over his rivals in 37 seconds. He was small but feisty, recalled one of McCain's school friends, Malcolm Matheson. Episcopal High School in the 1950s was a near-military boarding school where many of the boys were from wealthy families in the South. Its honor code is one of the oldest among secondary schools in the United States, and a cherished tradition at Episcopal High, which guides students to become discerning, self-reliant, creative, compassionate individuals.
And it was a smaller school at that point, but in many ways it was the same school in terms of the values. And you'll hear Senator McCain often talk about the honor system as something that meant a great deal to him. A strong belief in honor as a fundamental value, as the most important value in an academic community and in a community in which you live. And at Episcopal, what that means is that you commit when you come that you will not lie, you will not cheat, you will not steal, and you will report any student or any infraction that you see who's violating that. So it's a very strong sort of cultural community value. No matter how much the program changes or the buildings change, these same values based on the honor code have sort of lasted through all the years.
McCain was often punished to do the cleaning in his teacher's house to serve off his demerits. Because of this, he got to know Williams Ravenel, a head of the English department, whose influence in his life was more important and benevolent than that of any person outside his family. Ravenel had received the Silver Star in the 6th Armored Division of General George Patton's Third Army.
这是麦凯恩最喜欢的老师 Mr. Ravenel 以前的住处，他常常到这里来与他的老师一起讨论人生。当他从军队退役回来以后，他曾经到这里来寻找过他的老师，很可惜，他发现 Mr. Ravenel 早已过世。
He remembers that Ravenel was one of the few people at school to whom I confessed my reservations about my destiny, and while working in Ravenel's yard, I discussed all manners of subjects with him, from sports to the stories of Somerset Maugham, from his combat experiences to my future. Despite his rebellious nature, McCain was destined to attend the Naval Academy, like his grandfather and his father before him. John McCain's grandfather, John Slew McCain, graduated from class of 1906 at the Naval Academy. Slew McCain once sank 49 Japanese ships in a day during World War II.
1954年夏天，麦肯恩到美国海军学院学习，并在4年后以工程学学位毕业。
McCain went to Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, the biggest Navy training school in the United States. At that time, he was not yet 18.
His father graduated in the class of 1935. Senator McCain graduated in the class of 1958. His son is a student here who will graduate in the class of 2009. So that's 4 generations from the same family.
Well, he liked to break the tension with humor. We were studying very quietly, and then he got up to go over to the sink to get a glass of water, and he threw it on us. So we retaliated, and we had a big water fight. And then there was a knock on the door, which means that you have to come to attention and stand up straight. And it was his father. That's how I met his father. I was all wet. I had my back to the door, so I didn't know who it was, but I was looking at John, and he said, "Dad." So
Was
he was
McCain
very
surprised?
surprised. He was very surprised. He was very popular, and he was a leader. He had very good leadership skills. When we were seniors, he decided he was going to buy a TV set. So he convinced 4 other friends to buy it with him. It was very illegal. You were not permitted to have it. But he liked to watch boxing matches, and on Friday nights, and on popular television shows on Sunday night. Well, they became very popular events on Friday night and on Sunday night. Pretty soon the company officer heard about it. He got a rumor that there was a television set, so he searched our room and he found it. So he asked for one name to take the punishment, because there was a lot of demerits. So the way we decided, rock, paper, scissors. So the other friend said, "No, we don't want you to participate in the rock, paper, scissors, because if you lose, you'll be thrown out." But he insisted in participating. He said, "It was my idea, I'm responsible." So fortunately, he lost. I mean, he did not lose. Another person lost and took all the demerits.
How many merits?
40.
40. Wow.
Oh my.
And the midshipman,
I like
the friend who took the demerits, had none.
Had none before.
None before.
Oh,
So he could afford them. This is John. This is our senior year. This is his car. That's me. Yes, he has a cigar in his mouth.
在毕业以后，他到了佛罗里达州和德克萨斯州接受飞行员的培训，并在不久后投入到越南战争当中去。
In 1967, McCain was promoted to lieutenant commander in the Navy. On October the 26th, he was hit by a North Vietnamese missile on bombing run over Hanoi. He broke a knee and both arms when falling off the plane. In a lake in Hanoi, he was captured. In the next 5.5 years in a North Vietnamese prison camp, Mr. McCain, the son of a prominent admiral, did not want to be part of North Vietnamese propaganda, chose to endure years of torture instead of being released. McCain was nicknamed Crip for the severity of the injuries he sustained: a shoulder, both arms, and his knee broken. After months of physical therapy, McCain returned to the Navy and won a coveted assignment as commanding a fighter squadron near Jacksonville, Florida. In 1977, McCain worked as the Navy's liaison to the Senate for 3 years. In early 1981, Secretary of the Navy John Lemon told Captain John McCain that he was about to be selected as admiral, but McCain was hesitating whether to follow his father and grandfather's footprints. Finally, in the spring of 1981, McCain told his father that he was leaving the Navy. After moving to Arizona, John McCain was elected to U.S. House in Arizona's 1st District in 1982. In 1984, he easily retained his seat with 78% of the votes. In 1986, he was successfully elected to U.S. Senate. In the next 20 years, he never lost his Senate seat. In September 4, 2008, he accepted the Republican presidential nomination at a convention in St. Paul.
Tonight, I have the privilege given to you Americans, privilege of accepting our party's nomination